Hello, today we're making the first of a series of cooking videos. I've been wanting to do this for a while, just to kind of show some of my younger colleagues how to cook for themselves, how to prepare a meal at home. This happens to be a Crockpot lasagna, and some of my buddies say, Crockpot? Lasagna in a Crockpot, can that be done? It can. It has been done, and I'm going to do it tonight. The first thing that we're going to do is add our ricotta cheese, our Parmesan, a couple of eggs, and we're going to mix that all up in a bowl. I've got some fresh basil here, and it does happen to be Christmas Day, so Merry Christmas to everyone out there. A couple of eggs, ricotta. And we're going to mix that up thoroughly after I add that basil. So the last of the ricotta and some basil, fresh basil. Let that be noted. And I'm going to use a fork for that and just mix that up. Okay. Once that's done, we're going to add a little bit of sauce into the bottom of our crock pot here, and make sure that's to ensure that it doesn't burn on the bottom. So we're just going to add some of that nice meat sauce. There are two kinds of meat, ground beef and Italian spicy sausage, and there's 3 of those in there. So a pound of ground beef, 3 Italian sausages. Okay, so that's pretty well mixed up together. I'm going to add just a dash of olive oil there, just to make sure it's nice and loose, just a little bit. Okay, just a dash more. Okay, there's our cheese spread. So we're just going to add a few ladles of our meat sauce in there. There's a whole onion and a whole garlic, both finely diced and minced. And we've got some nice baby Bella mushrooms in there. And this is what's for spices. I used salt, pepper, a little Lowry's, some paprika, and a fair amount of chili powder. So with that, we add our first layer of lasagna noodles, and this is part of the reason people feel that this can't be done, because of the shape of the pan. But after looking at some videos myself, several, and seeing who's doing what and who's who, I find that this was my favorite method. So 1 full noodle down the center if you're using a crock pot, and 1 noodle broke in half, placed thusly. So once I've done that, I'm going to add my cheese, my different cheeses with the egg. Okay, and we want to do a fair good amount on this, because this is, I believe, going to be like a 3-layer lasagna. So we just want to make sure to be fairly generous with this first layer, kind of the foundation of the whole thing. Okay, so we spread that out. As evenly as you can, even though the cheese and everything is eventually going to melt. We want to know that things have been distributed well. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, that is our first layer. And from there, we are just going to repeat. So I have my cheese. I have another layer of meat sauce. Usually about 3 ladles there is going to work for you to get that covered. We want to not be too generous, because I have run low on my sauces and my supplies at some point. So that seems about right. we're going to put another lasagna in there right in the center. And as we know, we break the other one in half. And we've got 1 and 1. Okay, I try to keep these curly, wavy things on the outside, but can't always get what we want, right? So anyway, here we go with this. And by the way, for no matter how Frankenstein you make this, in the end, with the cooking and all, and the melting and everything, it just about comes out to where you can't tell it was all put together, that it wasn't one piece. It's kind of an interesting thing, but on our end at this point, we want to make sure as it is. We'll check back with you in a little bit. Okay, so we're back, and this is basically a 3-layer lasagna, like I was saying. At the very end, you want to take all of your excess meat sauce and just put it on the top. So we had some sauce on the bottom to prevent it from burning. We've got some on the top, a goodly amount with our last layer, and this is grated mozzarella cheese. So we're going to put a pretty nice amount on there, a generous amount of cheese on there, and just keep that nice and evenly distributed throughout. Okay, a nice layer of cheese. And I'm also going to add, I saw somebody do this and it looked pretty smart, around the sides, I'm going to add 1 cup of chicken broth, just to give it just enough moisture. Because remember, those noodles aren't being boiled in water or anything. The sauces, the juices, everything is going to do that. I'm going to add just a little bit of more oregano onto the top, just for a little seasoning on top. Okay. I'm also going to add a little salt and pepper on the top, black ground pepper. 1, 2, 3, 4. For those of you who like pepper, you're doing well. And I did want to point out also that for those of you who are vegetarians, or in terms of meat, you can easily not put the meat in here and just have a really nice mushroom tomato sauce kind of a vibe, you know. I'm gonna save some of my basil, my fresh basil, but I am gonna put some on the top to kind of bake in here. And just, you want to cut this with a scissors. You don't ever want to finely chop this stuff. It loses its essence pretty quick. So we've got that. We've got some basil distributed there a little bit. We've got our top. We're going to put the top onto this crock pot. Seal it. It is on high. So once I put, oh yes, one of the main things I almost always forget, a bay leaf or 2. So we've got our fresh bay leaf. This really, when you don't use it, you really notice the difference. So I'm going to put a bay leaf down the side there. I'm going to put a bay leaf down the side there to keep the stems up so we know where they are and we can find them again. And this is again for all of you folks out there who are on your own and eat out maybe too much and wanted to prepare something and have it eat to last you through the week. And what a wonderful meal this is going to be. Get a lot of servings, can help a friend out. My student Ralph is kind enough to film this video for you. Again, I've got this on high. I'm going to put that on for about 2 to 3 hours. Thanks for watching. Hope this is something you can make and enjoy for yourself. So Ralph and I are about to partake of this Christmas dinner, this beautiful lasagna. And as you can see, we got our 3 layers, the squares cut pretty well out of the crock pot, and we've got some fresh basil topping it off, a little mozzarella just to add a little kick. But I'm telling you, I think we can say, oh, we did let it sit the customary 30 minutes just to kind of settle. Fantastic.